And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. You know the drill, www.galacticfriedchicken.com for everything Galactic, including delivery right to your front door, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or head down to Dayton, Kentucky, tell them to pump it up and save yourself 15% off of your order. They are open Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Go see our guy Shane and the Galactic crew, and you will get taken care of. All right, Aaron. I'm gonna tease something before we get started tonight. Are you gonna? What are we doing? There we go.
I've hit it 3 times. I don't know what's happening.
There's big news coming tomorrow. Big news coming tomorrow about a future content situation. And I would like everybody to know that to keep your eyes peeled noon tomorrow and to keep your schedule open 513 day, Monday, May 13th, as me and Aaron and Brent, Keegan, Dave, Royer, the whole crew. We're going to be involved in something on 513 day that you are all going to want to be a part of. So without spilling the entire can of beans like I almost did last night, basically did last night on the BBP, I got a little carried away. But official word on what we have going on is coming tomorrow, Wednesday at noon. And I am excited, Aaron. We haven't done something of this nature for a long time. And this channel
Since our
has come a
infancy
long way.
on this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we got monetized, was the last event that we did like this. So I'm super excited. There's going to be a different goal this time. It's not subscriptions. We are not doing it for our own personal gain this time, but it's going to be awesome. Awesome. 513 day. Just plan on being here all day and all night. The last time we did something like this, we planned on stopping at midnight and we went till 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that's going to be what we do this time, but I'm super excited. It's going to be a very cool event. All right, let's get going. A very interesting article from our own Isaac Trotter at 24/7 Sports today that is labeled, "If they don't go pro, elite basketball recruits are more likely to transfer than stay put." And the tagline is, "Congratulations, you just signed a ballyhooed freshman. Good luck keeping him around in the portal era." Here are kind of the numbers. 13 of the top 25 players from the 2023 class are transferring after a coaching change. This is a little bit different cycle because obviously Kentucky opened and Michigan opened. You had some big names and some big coaching names shifting in this cycle. So a little bit different all the way at the top. But as they started doing this this exercise, they start looking at all the way down to, I think, 61. I don't know why 61 is the number.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Why are we using 61? Do the numbers get all thrown off when we go 60 or 62 or 65?
I would guess starting at 62, you're probably more likely that those guys stayed because they kind of understood, like they weren't top 50. Like here's the thing. We have talked about this a lot, Aaron. I know it did me. That's your number. We have talked a lot about this, that top 50 freshmen in their mind expect to come in and play a significant role at the school that they choose to attend. look at the Big 12. We talked about it. Jacoby Walter was really the only freshman on one of the top teams in the Big 12 that played a starring role. You had the three guys at Oklahoma State who started and played heavily. Their coach got fired, and all those guys are on the move. Jizzle James, in his role, which was 17, 18 minutes a game, played about as much as any of the other freshmen in the league. And these top 50 guys are expecting to come in and make a big splash. And right now, at least, and we'll see if it changes when the COVID years dry up, and we're not looking at, I think there's like 400 guys in the portal this year were using their COVID year, their extra year of eligibility. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of dudes that are for the most part landing at good places. It's very interesting because the world of recruiting elite talent, top 50 talent, and developing it in your program is changing. And at least for right now, and again, I do think once you see the COVID years expire, you will see these freshmen finding their way onto the floor more. Like what's Cincinnati? Aziz is in a COVID year. Seamus is in a COVID year. Hickman,
I believe, said on our interview.
Or no, he started the year. He started the year after. But they're.
Are you sure Seamus had one, or was he?
I think he also.
I think he just missed it as well.
Okay. But you're dealing with a lot of older guys where they're blocked. Like the upward trajectory as a freshman, as teams go into the transfer portal, find older guys to fill these spots that freshmen used to fill. Those, 15, 17, 18-minute a game roles, that a role similar to what Jizzle filled last year. They're going into the portal and getting, what? The truth is, Aaron, Cincinnati thought Mike Adams-Woods was going to be that guy coming in to the offseason. And then at the very last minute, he entered the portal and they elected to bring in Aziz instead of replacing him. So it's fascinating. I do think we're going to see it normalize a little bit, but this is telling you probably want to wait and go get him as a sophomore because your chances of keeping them are better.
I'm curious as to what the numbers would be if we went and looked at where these guys transferred to, and if those teams that they ended up transferring to were heavily involved in their initial recruiting process. And I say that as Cincinnati was the beneficiary of one of these top 61 guys in Arrington Page, who has decided to come to Cincinnati.
I mean, I know Hickman is different, but also where did Hickman go? Hickman went to the guy that recruited him to Bradley out of high school, in Drew Adams. Sean Stewart, familiarity with his AAU program and played with Jizzle James and Dylan Mitchell, who we'll talk about here in a minute. He also played for the Florida Rebels. And that is the AAU program that Jizzle James came from. So familiarity, Sean Stewart went to Ohio State that recruited him very heavily out of high school. The other finalist besides Cincinnati was Georgetown, who also recruited him very heavily out of high school. So what you're saying, what you're getting at, I think, is it's key to make these connections. But you also might be wise waiting until the second time around. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that as a strategy, right?
It's not necessarily a good strategy. I think the strategy would be to make sure that when you are recruiting these high-level guys, that just because they choose to go somewhere else doesn't mean you burn the bridge. You got to make sure that you're some way, somehow, without tampering, maintaining that relationship in whatever way that you can, or making sure that you at least leave on a very high note and make that lasting impression, despite whatever else background noise that there may be. during the entirety of the initial commitment. And just, I don't know, just trying to keep your head above that water, I guess.
So here's the number that numbers that are even more interesting. 2 years ago, 38 of the top 61 recruits from the class of 2021 returned for their sophomore seasons. Only 6 hit the portal. One of them was Amani Bates, who he didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Just 6 of the top 61 recruits from the class of 2021 are still with the program they signed with out of high school. 6 of the top 61 recruits from the class of 2021 are still with the school they signed with.
Well, I guess when you say that, as Cincinnati is taking these big swings at these kids year after year at this point, Wes Miller does not hold back going after these top kids. You also have to be prepared to not have a weak stomach about these things, because the odds of these kids sticking around for more than a year, 2 years, and developing throughout the entirety,
Aaron,
the odds are not in your favor.
It gets even more staggering for 2022, which would be guys that would be going into their junior year now. 50 of the top 61 recruits from 2022 haven't made it to their junior seasons without going pro or hitting the portal.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either, but to see the numbers on it is insane.
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, you got to hope that either somehow, some way, Wes can make a good enough impression on these guys that they stick by his side, or just be prepared for that roster turnover that we don't want to necessarily see, but it's just a reality when you're looking at guys that are this high in the rankings.
Here's the ultimate, the final number here, Aaron. I'll ask you, and we've given you these numbers so you can do the math in your head. What percentage of the top 61 recruits from 2021 made it to their senior seasons?
Well, I mean, we're looking at about 5 out of 6. So somewhere around
less than 10. Less than 10%. 18% of the top 61 recruits from 2022 made it to their junior season. Wow. 82% of the top 60 players in the 2022 class made it to their junior season.
Now, those numbers aren't necessarily fair, and I say this only because the NIL has been changing, and we've seen it evolving this offseason, even more so than last offseason, where the money being thrown around at this point is dumb money.
Fair, unfair. It's all fair now, Aaron. It is all above board.
I
if
understand.
You have money, you can spend it. So to call it not fair, it is fair. Everything is fair game. And then the final number.
Didn't say unfair. I just said it's dumb money.
Well, you said it's not fair. And I'm saying it's all fair now. And then the final number, Aaron, the 2023 class of the top 61 recruits, only 37% will play at that school their sophomore season. 1 year removed. 1 year removed.
Goodness gracious.
That's staggering. It's staggering. But guess what? You know what that means? There's going to be a shit ton of talent in the portal every year.
Yeah. And we saw it this offseason. We saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to see it every offseason. It's a trend. That's where this article came from. It is a trend that is happening. Before we get out of here, kind of the news of the day that hit, middle of this afternoon. Dylan Mitchell, a guy who's on this list, he was a 5-star in 2022 and played 2 seasons at Texas. He will play his junior year somewhere else. He will be official visiting to Cincinnati starting tomorrow, going through Thursday. This is, if you saw me on the message board, I mentioned that the staff, I mentioned this on Thursday or Friday, that the staff was not done taking big swings. when Sean Stewart committed to Ohio State. I think that was Friday, right? This is one of those names. He's interesting because he gives you some positional versatility. He's probably traditionally like an old school 4-man, 6'8" long, can jump, can rebound, doesn't shoot it, can't shoot it, doesn't shoot it. He shot 0% from 3 this year at Texas, and he didn't take any. Like, the number he took was, I don't know if he took any.
Not sure. I have his page pulled up, but I don't. In any case, averaged 9.6 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 58.5 from the field, 59.8 from the line. He's a Bearcat already.
Bearcat, baby. He offensive rebounds. He plays hard as shit, and he can't shoot to save his life. Let's go. He's the missing piece.
But he's definitely my type of guy. As far as just being a 4, just a power 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could play you some small ball 5. I think he could guard out to a 3. So he gives you some positional flexibility. Now, we just spent a lot of time talking about transfers and NIL. He has visited St. John's. He has visited Miami. And from what I heard today, North Carolina is also trying to make a play. So put your big boy pants on. If you're going to go into the portal and looking for these 5 stars that we just talked about for 15 minutes, you better know that you're going to have to play the NIL game and play it heavily. And on that note, I would recommend you tune in to this channel all day Monday. All day, 513 day. That's going to wrap it up. Catch George in the Jungle with Aaron and George Vogel also tonight. And we will see you tomorrow for the BCJ podcast. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!